Hello and welcome to News Update on Acnn TV. St. Matthew's Anglican Church, Mektama, Abuja invites all to her revival program with the theme, Taking the Kingdom by Force, and Bible focus from Matthew 11:12. The revival, which started on October 10th, will run till the 13th of October 2021. The guest speaker for the program is the Bishop of Ida Diocese, the Right Reverend Joseph Musa. The vicar of the church, the Venerable Ephraim Akanya, invites all to come with an open mind as God is set to do great things through restoration for all that the enemy has stolen from his children, adding that Christians must seek the Lord in the place of prayer. The revival program will feature intense prayers, ministering of the word, among others. Time is 5 p.m. daily. Now, budget deficit has risen to 20.64 trillion naira under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. According to the analyzed data from the Budget Office, the data covered periods from 2016 to 2020, saying more than 7.97 trillion naira was borrowed from foreign and domestic sources to fund these deficits. Meanwhile, Investopedia said a budget deficit occurs when expenses exceed revenue and indicate the financial health of a country. But the Budget Office said the federal government generated a revenue of 3.42 trillion naira to fund the budget in 2020, adding that the total government spending for the year was 10.2 trillion naira, which is 43% above the 9.97 trillion naira budgeted. Meanwhile, the police in Lagos State has warned against planned protests in commemoration of last year's EndSARS protests. The EndSARS protests were held across the country last year as a campaign against police brutality, but came to a halting end after Nigerian security officials allegedly shot at unarmed protesters at the Lekki toll gate on October 20th. The protests were also marked by wanton loss of lives and properties, as several individuals and groups have publicly indicated an interest in honoring the lives of those lost during the protest. But according to a statement signed by police spokesperson Acnn, the planned protests may lead to a breakdown of law and order. He also advised parents and guardians to warn their children against participating in the protests. More than 1.76 million people have been affected by severe flooding in China's northern Shanxi province, according to local media. The torrential rain last week led to houses collapsing, which triggered landslide across multiple cities in the province. Report says heavy rainfall is obstructing rescue efforts as the flooding came less than 3 months after extreme rains in Henan province, leaving more than 300 dead. Meanwhile, China's Meteorological Administration also told reporters that heavy and prolonged rainfall with storms are hampering rescue efforts, as authorities said that more than 120,000 people have been urgently transferred and resettled, and that 17,000 homes have collapsed across Shanxi province. It added that the Shanxi flooding may have been worse than the floods in Henan earlier this year. Poles backing EU membership have taken part in protests across the country amid fears it could leave the bloc, as Poland's top court ruled that key articles of EU law were incompatible with the constitution. Organizers said protests took place in more than 100 towns and cities, with about 100,000 people turning out in the capital. Meanwhile, Poland's Prime Minister Morawiecki has defended the ruling, saying they have the same rights as other countries and wants these rights to be respected. He also insisted, however, that Poland's family of nations, and his party has said it has no plans for what some people are calling Polexit. And on sports news now, former Juventus manager Marcelo Lippi has identified Chelsea midfielder Jorginho as the player that deserves to win the Ballon d'Or this year. Jorginho won the UEFA Champions League with Chelsea at the end of May before playing a pivotal role in Italy's Euro 2020 triumph and Italy International, and he was among the 30 players shortlisted for the Ballon d'Or last Friday. Meanwhile, the 29-year-old is expected to rival PSG Lionel Messi, Bayern Munich's Robert Lewandowski, Chelsea's N'Golo Kante, Manchester United's among others for the Ballon d'Or this year. So that's it for the news update on Acnn. Please join us by 3 p.m. West African time for the news on the hour. I am Zubechi Frank. Thanks for watching.
Beaming from the nation's capital, we bring to you the good news through various programming, news updates, worship and teachings.
The paralysis of sin makes us to be separated from God.
Contact us for your live streaming solutions and event coverage, such as synods, conferences, seminars, revivals and lots more. Engage us in showcasing your brands and services to the world.